Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm James. Hi. So I'm gonna try something a little bit different. This is something that people have mentioned being interested in possibly seeing on this channel or on other channels or whatever. But kind of came to a point in my current life where I feel like it was a good time to attempt it. I am going to kind of talk about exercise and fitness and what I do personally, staying in shape and stuff like that. People tweet at me or do stuff, which is awesome. I like being associated with exercise and fitness because it's one of my most important hobbies. And so while Elise is over there playing the witness, and as long as she can get through puzzles that she doesn't need my help for, then it should be good.
Puzzles.
They're just line puzzles. She's got some of them, though. I solved most of the shadow puzzles.
You are a shadow puzzle.
I'm not a shadow puzzle. Anyway, it's very near and dear to my heart, and I am happy to share some information along the way. But the big thing is that I want everyone to know I'm not a physical therapist. I am not a personal trainer. I am not trained necessarily. I never went to school for the things that I've done. There are people that have done that. They're a lot more informed than I am. And so you should always default to those people over anything I ever say. The things that I'm going to say are personal experience based assumptions that have worked for me. And I'm getting old, but getting old means I'm coming up on about 2 decades of going to the gym regularly. And I guess you can take that as 2 decades, and I just look like this. You would think, how long did Arnold Schwarzenegger work out before he became pretty big? Less than 2 decades. But yeah, so I have some stuff, I guess. And then the big thing is I don't think that you should do what I say. So I'm going to tell you what I'm doing any given week, maybe. And I'm not putting this out here as a program for anyone to follow. That's not what this is. This is just me sharing my personal experience and then hopefully giving people some advice along the way. My personal advice, for example, some essential things that I think are essential. A lot of people ask me, where do I get started? The first thing I always say is don't even bother starting until you know you can go to the gym 3 times a week, at least 3 times a week for 5 weeks, maybe 6. But carve out that much of your life. So if you know that you're going to be going on vacation in 2 weeks, don't even bother starting. I know that sounds crazy, don't even bother starting, but don't even bother starting because you're just going to get thrown off track. You need to find it's like a runway, like a plane landing. Find a runway. Don't try and take off if you only have a little bit of road. Make sure you have a runway. Otherwise, you're not going to get off the ground. Boom. How's that? But that's the first thing I'd say. The second thing I'd say is you don't need a lot of equipment to get in shape. There are some things that are essential for me. But in terms of personal equipment, you don't need crazy stuff. I went to the gym in this shirt. I have on Toronto Raptor shorts that I worked out in. The only things that I think are essential is if you're going to lift weights, which I highly recommend that you do, or at least explore the option of lifting weights because they're pretty fantastic. Is get one of these. It's a notebook. I think I bought this one at Target or a drugstore or something. It has lines in it, and then I just write my lifts and stuff on the lines, and I worked out for probably 10 years before ever using a notebook, and started using one, and it made a huge difference. Just writing things down, just keeping track of things makes a huge difference. So I encourage you to get a notebook. I also encourage you to get a not necessarily expensive or good pair of shoes, but some people will exercise or at least do heavy weightlifting in sneakers with really thick soles. And general consensus is that that's not a great thing. Basically, imagine working out on a spring. Those thick soles are designed to absorb impact, generally for running or whatever. So when you push down on them, it squishes it together. If you say you have a lot of weight on your shoulders and you're trying to push through that, you're already gonna be pushing through the resistance of the spring. It's hard to explain, but just imagine how much harder things would be if you were doing them on a spring. That being said, it also changes the angle of your foot. So if you have a thick sole over your heel and your toe is not the same, now your foot is already on a slant, and that changes things. I'm not recommending this at all. I'm just going to show you what I use. I do work out in very fancy, colorful Vibrams. They're fancy in this color because this is the absolute cheapest color I could buy to get these types of shoes. I used to wrestle in high school, and my shoes were bright purple. They're like neon purple, not because I like the color, but because they were the cheapest. And I work out in those, not necessarily because I think they're the best shoes, not because I think that they're any better than other flat-soled shoes. They just kind of work for me. I just kind of like them. I don't think the toes thing really that matters that much. I used to lift barefoot, and that was fine. In fact, I would say you could even save some money, and if you feel like you can safely do it, work out barefoot. But it's kind of up to you. The most important thing is research shoes that are actually good for lifting weights or for whatever it is you're going to do. So that's it. Those are my essential things. I also have a stopwatch. Not essential, but sometimes it helps. You lose track of time. You think that you've only been resting for 30 seconds, and it's actually been a minute and a half, or you think that you've only been resting, or you think that you've been resting for a minute, but you've actually only been resting for 20 seconds. Like, these things happen, you get distracted, and it can really be helpful to just be like, I know that was a really hard set. I want to at least take a 3-minute break before I get back at it again, which is something you should do. So those can be useful, but not really necessary. If there's a clock on the wall, you can use a clock on the wall. It doesn't really matter. But so that's my basic overall intro stuff. Now I kind of want to mention where I'm at. I'm kind of, starting over isn't the right word, but I'm kind of like getting back into it. I haven't gotten to do really that much weightlifting or exercise since 2016 started, and I always feel really shitty whenever that's the case. I had my wisdom tooth taken out kind of abruptly towards the end of the last year, and that kind of put me on my back, but then I got back into the gym for like a week and a half before Christmas break, and I had already lost some steam, but I was like, okay, we'll fight for it. Christmas break was okay. Elise and I went to the gym pretty okay over Christmas break, but even that, it's not the same frequency, and then you're kind of just lying around for the rest of the day, whatever. And then we came back, and I only had 4 days before there was travel, and then there was Australia, and Elise and I went to the gym in Australia, but it's not the same thing. It's not the routine that you're used to. You're not always pushing yourself. So it's been a while, and I noticed these changes immediately. My strength just feels like it's gone, and trying to get back into it is a little tough. I also noticed that it's kind of strange, but like sometimes when I take time off, I'll start to feel pain in different areas of my body. If anyone can explain this to me, I'm totally open to hear it. But like stuff like lower back pain, sometimes I'll get it in my shoulders or whatever. These are things that I don't have when I'm in a regular routine and I'm like warming up and doing stuff like that. It's stuff that happens when I take a long time off and maybe I'm not so active, and then I get back into it, and then I probably strain something or hurt myself or whatever. But kind of during the Australia trip, my lower back was kind of bothering me. Sitting on a plane for 15 hours probably didn't help. So I'm trying to be really conscientious about that too. It's kind of a good point to consider it a starting over point. Also, just looking in the mirror, I feel like it was only a couple months ago that I was in what I felt like was the best shape of my life, like aesthetically, but then also just physically. I was really strong, like felt really good about everything, felt really healthy, despite being older than I've ever been. Elise can attest to that.
You're the oldest that I've ever seen you.
Yeah, so despite that, I was in really good shape, and now I am not in as good shape. And my goal is to keep getting in better and better shape, despite the fact that I'm getting older. I feel like it's totally possible. Totally get stronger.
This video's dragging.
Well, I'm sorry.
Gotta spice it up.
Sorry, I have bullet points that I want to get through. I currently weigh, so I weighed myself today. Today is February 1st, 175 and a half pounds, give or take. It's not bad. That's not bad. I used to always weigh like a flat 185, and then kind of leaned up a little bit. So I'm around there.
What'd you lean against?
I'm gonna be leaning against your butt with my back of my hand. So I'm playing it conservatively with the weights. So keep that in mind. But I'll tell you what I did today, because I'm back in the gym today. This is going to be week 1 of whatever this is. I did squats. Every single time I go to the gym, I do squats. I love them. It took me forever. It took me 13 years to learn to love squats. But now I love them. And for me specifically, I do a low bar and high bar squat split. And so today I did low bar squats, which is another thing because it's a really good test of your lower back. I was trying to just see if I felt some pain, and luckily I didn't. But I did low bar squats. I'm not going to explain the workouts. If you guys don't know what they are, you can totally just Google low bar squat, or just squat in general. But low bar squats worked up to about 275 pounds. And so right now the routine or the program that I'm working on, I did 2 sets of 5 reps at 275 pounds, and then took a bit of a rest, and then went for a final set to just as many reps as I could. And in this particular case, I felt comfortable doing 7 reps. So that's good. Generally, when you do more than 3 sets of 5, you know that you have the strength to have gone higher in weight and then move up to 3 sets of 5 somewhere else. So next time I do it, I'll probably try 280 or keep moving it up a little bit. Again, I'm going to play it really conservatively with the weights. I want to see how my back feels. I want to take it kind of slow. And then after that, moved on to bench press, another one of my favorite lifts. This time I warmed up to about 215 pounds, which bench press used to be my lift. That used to be my thing. But in recent years, I've kind of, I don't know if evened out is the right word, but I just haven't really prioritized it as much. So coming back after this much of a break, I was like, all right, we'll play it safe, again, conservatively. And ended up around 215 pounds, 2 sets, 5 reps, took a little break, went for a final set, and ended up hitting 7 reps, which is good. It makes you feel like you can do more next time, whether or not you did it this time. So that's always good. And then after this, I always try and compensate. Anytime I do chest, I try and do back as well, because you get slumped shoulders. This happened to me for like a lot in my early 20s, where I had spent so much time doing bench press and being concerned about bench press that my shoulders kind of get pulled forward. That's something that happens to a lot of people, and the best way to combat it is to get your strong back, so that way you can kind of pull your shoulders back again too, which is a bit of advice, because bench press is one of those lifts that you see a lot of dudes go into the gym to start doing bench press. That's awesome. Do it. But then also maybe take the time to work your back as well, so that way you don't get slouched and whatever, hunched over forward like this. Anyway, I wanted to work my back. I wanted to do pendlay rows, which is another exercise that everyone should look up. It's not utilized nearly enough, and it is awesome. But I couldn't get a bar, unfortunately. It was all taken. So I just found a machine, just did heavy rows, 3 sets, 8 reps. I think the weight was at 155, but when it's on a stack of weights, I don't really get too caught up in it. And that was it. That was my whole workout. It took about 45 minutes, maybe 50 minutes. Normally I never finish before Elise Elise finishes, but today I did. So that's what it was. It felt good. It felt good to be back into it, but it's a far cry from where I was before Christmas and the holidays, before the wisdom tooth, because before that I was doing 365 low bar squats, so almost 100 pounds more. And this is a little bit weaker, so I'm trying to take it in stride, but it's fine. I don't really care. I'm going to work back up to it. In terms of going forward, I'm lucky enough to have a gym that I can access during my lunch break, and I'm going to try and do that. That's where I do most of my cardiovascular exercise and accessory work. So when I go to the gym, 24-hour fitness or wherever, I try and grab a squat rack. I grab the heaviest things that I can and try and move the heavy things around because those are the only places I can do it. I have access to another gym, has some free weights and some treadmills and some bicycles and stuff like that, and stuff to move your body around. So that's where I do stuff like weighted pull-ups or dumbbell exercises, or I do sprints on the treadmill. So generally I'll start with a cardio exercise and then move on to some other exercise, accessory exercises afterwards. So I'm going to try and do that. Maybe 4 days a week, and then an additional 3 heavy exercises at the gym on top of that. 7 days, seven workouts a week may be a little much, but I can play with it. I'm just gonna kind of do it. It's a really nice feeling if you can, and not everyone can, but if you can get up out of your chair in the middle of a workday and then just like move, exercise, do anything like that, it gives you energy for the rest of the day. It makes you feel like the lunch that you're eating is actually fuel, and I like it a lot because it's over. If you're not going to the gym again, which most people shouldn't, and I don't even know if I should, but it means that you're done. You're done by like 1 p.m. It's awesome. I know everyone doesn't have that benefit. Anyway, speaking of fuel, in terms of my diet, I'm playing it pretty conservatively. When I was strong, aforementioned strength before the holidays, I was eating just about as much as I could, not really gaining any weight, which is awesome because it meant that I was working it out at the gym, getting stronger and everything. Coming back, I'm going to play it a little conservatively. I'm not trying to lose any weight. I'm never concerned about the number, but I'm not just going to start stuffing my face and hope that I get stronger. I'm going to give myself some food and then see where that takes me. I'm going to be aiming for around 1,800 to 2,000 calories a day. The easiest way for me to do that is to have space food, which I've talked about before. Basically, it's like a protein shake with a bunch of stuff in it.
When do we eat the cheeseburgers?
Elise eats 2 cheeseburgers. That's how she gets her protein. Don't dance around like that. Don't dance around like that.
This is James's baby blanket. I don't know why we have this.
That's my baby blanket. Where was that?
I don't know, in some shithole.
Don't let her negativity bring you down, guys. All right?
3,000 calories a day, guys. That's how we're going to do it.
And then if you also follow Elise, she's going to be posting her progress too, as she gets stronger in the squat.
Feel good about yourselves.
Feel good about
That's
yourselves.
It. That's all you need to do.
So yeah, space food is what I'm going to be using. Breakfast, lunch, and then a dinner is kind of whatever. Tonight I had chicken and some pasta that was mixed with spinach and mushrooms. It was really good. I'm probably going to have salmon tomorrow or Wednesday or something. And then I may have a protein shake or not sometime during the day. Anyway, that's it. That's all I'm doing. And this video took way longer than I expected it to take, but I wanted to kind of preface everything that I was going to do. I'm going to try and follow it week by week, maybe. I'll keep track of everything and let you guys know how it goes. I genuinely encourage you guys, if you're interested in exercising or getting in shape or doing whatever, you can start right now with me. I'm starting over. You can start right now. And I encourage you to post your progress and stuff in the comments. I encourage people that are more fit than I am or more knowledgeable than I am to post their stuff in the comments, and everyone can have a cool discussion about getting in shape. And maybe Elise will read the comments. You can learn a thing or two. about how cheeseburgers fit into the food pyramid.
And if you need someone to encourage you to go to the gym or anything, tweet at him, and he'll encourage you.
That's true. Tweet at me about going to the gym, and I will shout at you over the internet. But anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. If you guys want to see more of this, let me know. I'm going to keep exercising, regardless of whether or not I have to make a video every single week talking about it. But if you want to see more of this, her dancing,
I'm not dancing.
then let me know in the comments. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope this wasn't too boring. Sorry for talking for 20 minutes. Bye.